Today, what we're going to focus is the multiple VLOOKUP. This is very applicable if you have some duplicate values actually. For example, here we have the staff number. As you can see, we have some duplicates. You can see that by clicking on data and or clicking home and then conditional formatting, highlight duplicate. Okay, so there are some duplicate values there. 179012556, for example. This is the first staff number, and it is repeated here again and again. Okay, because in this particular data, actually, a salesperson can sell different products like widget A, B, C, and so on. And of course, they will have different revenues for every product. Okay, so this cannot be solved using a simple VLOOKUP because a simple VLOOKUP will just calculate one value. For example, here, if you're going to use, or if you're going to extract the revenue of this particular salesperson using this sales number or staff number, it will just extract the first revenue, 2,400. It will not be displaying 1,800 and so on. Also, we have here 1,600, and it will keep on going. So simple VLOOKUP is only for one value. For multiple VLOOKUP, we have to do something actually. So what we're going to do is first to count. Okay, so we're going to count the entries of every salesperson or every SN. So we're going to use count if for that. So we're going to start counting. So click FX, so you'll be guided. FX is the function argument window. It's going to guide you, especially for beginners. Please click on FX and be guided properly. So the range is from this number, okay, until the last, okay. So from here until, okay, colon, until here, okay. So the first is from B4 to B4. So we're going to lock B4 because that is our starting point. So when we drag it down, it doesn't change. Because usually when we drag, it is relative referencing. It will keep on changing. So to lock this particular, because this is our starting point, B4, we just have to select B4 and press F4. After that, you're going to see dollar signs before and after B. It means before the first entry here is locked. It will not change. That is our starting point. Okay, so here we are going to let this one change. Okay, so the next will be 1790127. Okay, so we are not going to lock everything. So we can lock, for example, the first part only. Okay. Well, if it doesn't work later, you can edit that one. I'm going to show you what will happen later when we drag it down. The criteria, what is our criteria here? This number, because we are counting this number, for example. Okay, B4. Okay. So as you can see here, the answer is 1. Okay, so let's try dragging this one down until here. So you can see here we have 2 already. Let me zoom in. Okay, so this one is 2 already. This is the second 1790126. Here we have 1, 1, and 1. Of course, here is 1. This is from B4 to B4. It means we're counting from here to here. Okay, so it's 1. From here until here, that's 2 already. because this is the second 1790126. So let's see. Okay, let's double click that. It's B4 to B4, and this is B4 down. This is B4 to B5 now. Okay, because we actually lock the column only. Okay, the first one is the column. The row, we did not lock this one because there is no $sign here. That is why it keeps on changing when we drag it down. Okay, this is already B8. As you can see, this is correct. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So it keeps on changing when we drag it down because only the column is locked. The row is not locked. It is allowed to change. So that's the purpose of that, why we put the $sign before the B only. It means we are locking or anchoring the column, but we are not locking our row. Here, we lock both the row and the column because it is our starting point, 1790126. So it doesn't change when we drag it down. It means we're going to start from here all throughout. Okay, and the criteria, we did not put any $sign there. As you can see here, our criteria is B4. So it means it is allowed to change. The criteria here will become B5. Okay, that is the B5 there, 1790127. It keeps on changing. Okay, so that is why this is 1 here, because this is the first 1790127. This one is 1 because this is the first 1790128. This is 1 as well. It is the first 1790129. So let's continue dragging this one down. See here, this will become 2 here because we have the first 1257. This is the second 1257. Okay. So just keep on dragging it down until the end. Okay. All right. So there are 11 entries for 1790126. We can select that. Select this column and check. Let's filter and see if there are really 11 1790126. Okay. Yes, the count is 11. So that is correct. Right. So we have already counted the entries of staff number. Let's now proceed to merging this number and the staff number. Okay. So we're going to attach these counts here. Okay, to the left of this staff number. So how we're going to do that? We're just going to add and here after the formula and select this number. So just double click and, okay, and this number and B4, for example. Then enter. So you can see 1 is now added here on the left of the first staff number. Drag it down. So all the numbers are merged with the staff numbers. So the counts are now attached to the staff numbers. Okay, so that's it. Let's now proceed to the multiple VLOOKUP. For example, we want to extract the revenues of every salesperson. Okay, for example, if you want to get the revenues of this salesperson, Alice, with 1790126 as the staff number, we can extract all the revenues at one go. Okay, so what we will do, we will make these staff numbers as distinct, unique. So copy these staff numbers and add a sheet, click the plus, Control V. So now it is pasted here. And what we're going to do is to select this column and remove the duplicates. So we have data, and remove duplicates. Okay, so now the numbers are distinct. So this is the first, second, third, and fourth. So we have only 4 salespersons. So we are going to put the revenues here, revenue 1, and so on and so forth. This is revenue 2. Try to check how many revenues here. You can select. There are 33 revenues, so try to add more. This is 24. All right, so we can delete these extras here. Okay, let's add some lines. Center the contents. Okay, so we want to get first the revenue of this salesperson. The first revenue, as you can see, is 2,400. So how to get this? We're going to use a VLOOKUP for 1, revenue 1. So equals. Now, you need to know, well, what is this column later, okay? Because we are going to use this as the reference. Okay, so let's first use the formula. Equals VLOOKUP. As I said, click on FX to be guided. There are 4 parameters there. So we have lookup value. What is our lookup value here? This is our lookup value, of course. This is what we're going to use. Okay. But we need to tweak a little bit. 1790126 because our sheet here contains some additional numbers on the left. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to add here column. Okay. Column. Okay. -1 actually, and then add A3, it will be added here. Because our point of reference here, I close that, is this one with additional counts like 1, 1, 1. This is what we did a while ago. Okay, so, and here we don't have the attached counts on the left. So this is for R1 here. So we need to attach some numbers on the left. So 1790126 should be 1, 1, 1, 1, 7901256, right? That is for R1. For R2, this should be here 2, 1, 7901256, something like that. So to do that, we need to get these numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, using a column formula. See this column, for example, column, enter. This is column 2. Okay, because you're putting the answer here, we have the number here. This is column 1, of course. This is column 2 here, as you can see. This is column 3. This is column 3. Okay, so this is 1, R1. How to make 2, 1, and how to make 3, 2. So we are going to have column -1, for example. See, column -1 will be 1, and this one will be 2, because you have -1. So we are going to use that in our parameters. Okay, so here we have equals VLOOKUP, fx. Here the lookup value -1. So you can see here the result is 1, because as I said, this is column 2, -1, it will become 1. Okay, and our number. Okay, as you can see here, we have already 1, 1, 7901256. 1 is attached already. Okay, and the table array is from where you're going to get the answer, from here. So we have to select from column A. Okay, it's highlighting everything already. Our target is to get the revenue. So we have to count. This is column 1, column 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because revenue is the 8th column. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So column index number should be 8. And this should be 0 here. So you can see the answer is 2,400. Okay. Now, let's try to test this one. If you're going to drag this one to the right, what happens? See, it gives you an error. So we have to tweak a little bit. So we are going to lock our A3. Okay. So we're going to lock the column. So when we drag it down, it will not change. I mean, it will be the next number, but the column will not change. Okay. Only the row is changing. Now, here our pivot A to V, also we have to lock this one. So it will not, change. F4 again. And 8 and 0, it's fine. Okay. So we locked our table from where we are extracting our answer, the table array. Here, we locked only the column because the salesperson's number should be changing. Okay, so enter. Try to drag it to the right. See, this is 1,800. Drag it to the right until the last. All right, so as you can see here, there are 11 numbers. Okay, 11 revenues for the salesperson. And this one looks awkward. We have NA, NA. This means that we don't have other values, only 11. So how to remove this one? So what we're going to do, we're going to add an additional function here, if error, before the Vlookup. We have if error. Okay, and towards the end, comma. Okay, put double quotes, and close. It means empty if it is an error. Okay, so we added if error, comma, double quotes. It means if there is no other value, it will give you a blank cell. Drag it to the right. As you can see here, all blanks, only until R11. Drag it down to solve for revenues of all other salesmen or salespeople. So we have all the values here. So let's check, for example, 179012558. There are 6. Okay, let's filter this. One 7901258. There are 6. Okay, from 1,400 to 5,000, which is correct. Okay, so this is how to do it. I want you to try to solve these values on your own. You can, rewind the video, pause the video, forward the video, and see how it is done. It's amazing. You can apply this to many, many aspects in life where we have duplicates in our values, and we want to all the values at one go. So the first 2 steps here, we have to use, count if, and then and to attach the staff number. And then we copy and paste all the staff numbers and remove the duplicates, and then use the formula. Okay. So you can, split the formula into various, functions like what I did here. so you can do it slowly and also understand while you are doing the process. So understanding the process is very important, so you can easily apply this in other areas, in other aspects, in other data sets. You can apply this in results of students, for example, where the numbers are repeated, because usually the results are given like this. For example, this is the first student. Okay, the numbers are repeated actually. Okay, for example, fail in this module and then fail in this module also. Okay, so the numbers are repeated and these are the retake modules. So if you want to extract the retake modules of students out of 2,000 students, for example, because this will keep on going. For example, this is another student here. Okay, 768, for example. For example, this particular student, okay, failed in 3 modules, for example. Then you can use the same process here to extract all the retakes of every student. Okay, so this is very, very applicable. It has so many applications in various data sets because believe me, there's so many data sets in real life where the point of reference, the student numbers or staff numbers are repeated because usually it's not unique. We are allowed, for example, salesmen, they're allowed to sell different products. Students, they're allowed to have different modules. Same with lecturers, they're allowed to have different classrooms, different modules, and other areas, okay, or other resources, for example. Okay, so that's all for the multiple VLOOKUP. Thank you so much for watching this video.